Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. T-Squared and Ryu hanging out in the Xfinity Zone. We want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, SanDisk, for making this season possible. We appreciate the continued support. Also, the Intel Extreme Masters returns to the Bay Area for the 3rd season in a row. So join us at the Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. And it's going to be some stadium-level competition in League of Legends and CSGO. So make sure you check it out. If you want more information, IEMOakland.com is your destination. But Ryu, here is the big match. A lot of people have been waiting for this one. It's time for SK Gaming to take on OpTic.
Yeah, no surprises on either roster. Fallen, Coldzera, FNX, Taco, and Fur. Coldzera considered to be one of the best players in the world. And then on the other side for OpTic, again, no real surprises there. But we have seen them play a little bit better than we were expecting them to. This is some of the best CS that they've played with the addition of Tarek, Mixwell, Rush, Naf, Stansel, all doing their parts. Should be a really, really good 2 maps.
All right, guys. Well, the players are ready to start, so let's throw this on over to the casters. We got the Bears and we got Blue. Take it away, guys.
The Bears.
Hello.
And welcome.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you? How's your day been?
Doing all right. Watching some good matches. Saw CLG versus Echo Fox.
Yeah.
Nice win for CLG.
Is your squad recovering?
They're getting better. They're getting better.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them. They're showing progress, which is good. It's always good to see progress.
It's always good to see progress, indeed.
We'll see how high they can go.
It's our slogan in ESC as well. Not necessarily. It's definitely not our slogan.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's okay. Anyway, let's get into the match, guys. It's already starting. We're like good to go. It's like we're on time. It's all smooth. We're getting into the match. It's looking good.
It's looking good. You know, SK and OpTic, they just want to play. They're hungry for some CS.
Just want to jump out and get those headshots, right?
You know, that's what you got to do. Just jump on a headshot. Screw strats. Let's get pistol armor, and let's just see who got the better aim. That's what they're doing right now.
And SK are going to go right for this one. Fallen finding his first kill already against Mixwell here. The drop, oh my goodness, they're so quick to go for drop control too. And they're just going to flush through drop, go into the A-bomb site. Rush trying to, rush through here and catch some of these guys in the flank. That's not going to pay off, however. FNX finding a pickup, catches the second player mid-air. Tarek getting knocked out of this one. Now trying to finally take him down. He'll succeed, but it's at a heavy cost. And now he's just lost his only other teammate in this matchup here. All falls to Naf here. Gets one nice headshot. Fur leaps over, but he gets that kill too. Unfortunately, I think that's all we're going to be able to see Nav find here, unless he pulls off 2 incredible headshots with 3 HP, or probably 4 HP and 3 kills. That's going to be very difficult to wrap out, especially with both players watching us. There you go. Finally pinned the wall. Taco's going to finish the job, and SK will pick up the pistol.
SK coming out fast, and like a puggy strat right there, just rushing down that drop area right in the connector is, you know, SK usually goes slow, but this map they just want to bring the fight to OpTic, and they showed it by just taking over that connector.
And with that, obviously, they get themselves off to a very nice lead too. Not a lot of impact from OpTic at all on that one. They weren't expecting that pace at all, as you mentioned. The only player that really impacted, this was like after the shock and all of the rush had gone away, was Rush. He was able to center himself there in the B-bomb site, push back in and catch some of the players that hung out here in the site connector. But look, same strat again, however, much higher intensity of players from SK. Unfortunately, they all try to push out there and hoping to find at least 2 or 3 players in this area. It wasn't the case. 4 of them went drop, and they've already got full control of the A-bomb site and are cutting out most of these players that did try to work out on that aggressive push there. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them being knocked out, and for Naf down at 6 HP, not a whole lot he can do, and more than likely he's going to sit back here with that SMG in hand.
OpTic with a gamble stack trying to push middle, see if they can catch like 1 or 2 people. Some teams on this map, you know, like to send 2 people or 1 person out middle, kind of just scout it out and stuff. And they do catch Fallen, who's just kind of got outshot there. But SK came back with a vengeance. You don't kill our leader. You don't. You just don't. They're going to win the round.
As they move in here too, Naf hunting for something, but they know he's sitting over here on this position too. And as he moves in, possibly looking for a gun or 2 that he could probably try and find to pick up there, but it's not the case. Just going to hide over here in the stack, hanging out with the floating chickens. And we'll make it out of this round with the SMG at the very least, have some effectiveness going into the next round.
SK going pretty fast. I like it. I like when teams are able to change the pace, you know, from their normal slow style. And Kabobble is one of those maps that you can actually use a faster paced T side and be pretty successful, especially if the CTs aren't really good at pushing back those rushes with nades and utility.
And we go right into our 3rd round here too for SK, where Obviously, we won't see much brought to the table for OpTic after the loss of the pistol round and the second round follow-up too. You still have NAF, as mentioned previously, working with that SMG that he managed to scavenge in the previous round, but that seems to be the only amount of effectiveness they're going to have. However, Stanislaw does a great job of denying coldzera completely. Mixwell with a second pickup and a third now. They're getting good control, and now here's the SMG. Good recovery from Fallen. However, at the end of the day, NAF is going to shut things down. Back over here on top of this one, and OpTic upset in the third round. The only major investment they had was Arbor sitting on Stanislaw that worked out perfectly, as you can see here inside. And then as well, Mixwell doing a fantastic job. But just an amazing little P250, gets 2 incredible kills. Stanislaw's here, he gets knocked out, but NAF with that saved SMG pulls off a miracle and picks up those final 2 kills. So the upset from OpTic already, and this scoreline's going to remain very close at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, surprising from SK that they didn't use much utility at clearing spots, especially in middle, when teams always will have a person just like a little crossfire in that middle. It's okay to use some nades to flush them out, and they didn't do that.
The guys from OpTic trying to get a bit tricky here too, boosting a play after the tree spot, but NAF had to immediately give it up because he got flashed. Now SK still trying to keep to the fast pace, but they're already going to get shut down. 3-1 trade. They've lost the bomb. Thankfully for the SK players out there, do manage to pick up 2 kills for themselves, but Mixwell trading it back again. Cold will be able to recover the bomb, but at the moment, that's all he's going to be able to do. Everyone else from OpTic is cleared out of this site, holding back, trying to see exactly how Cold is going to look to play this, as now he's the LMS in a 1v3. Has used a lot of his utility, and all the rest of the SK utility is essentially gone. A single flashbang and a Molotov to try and allow him to sit here, but with a minute on the clock, he's playing it very patiently. Spotting Rush, though, with the opposite task being accomplished against him, all of the surprise he has is gone. He's actually going to try to move in, I think, to hunt out Rush, but the problem is that they're expecting that too, so they're all grouped up on the other side of this one. The best task he can hope to accomplish at this point is going to be a plant, but they're actually giving him a lot of respect. 3 of them sitting outside, but finally, when he does overstay his welcome there and push into where the stack is hiding out, that is where Mixwell's going to punish, shut it down, and immediately tie this game up at 2 rounds to both squads.
Yeah, OpTic played that pretty smart towards the end, just staying right near each other, not making it 1 versus 1 for Cold. If he peeks on us, he's going to peek on all of us. And came out with a win. OpTic was just out-aiming him that round. SK just decided to rush out B again and just got out-aimed. Strictly out-aimed by OpTic.
And they will move into the mid-connector here pretty quickly, or at least send one of their guys to it, but the rest are, apologies, sneaking out over here towards the Broken Wall platform. And they will look to move in very fast. Over OpTic at the same time, a lot of defenses prepped for this one. There's Rush, 2 fast kills, Tarek finding a 3rd. Well, that's it's unfortunate for SK. They're not getting anywhere on this round. Not
at all, and OpTic is looking superb on this map. Even with the 2 gun rounds or 1 gun round right here, and that save that they won. All things out Tarek, nice exchange by Rush. You can see over the time, the more they play with Tarek, the better their teamwork is, and it's just looking like OpTic is looking like one of the teams to beat in North America. Yeah, Tarek originally showing a bit of, I would say, like hesitance on this squad and where he really fit in as far as a role is concerned, but especially at ESL 1 New York, he really showed up and shined in that Astralis game that I was able to cast. Like so many clutch plays that he was making, and really being a big impactor here for the squad itself. So now OpTic, we're going to see how exactly they can look to keep this lead going as SK go on to another eco. Not expecting all that much from them on this round. It's fast drop control. I mean, here's the thing, like SK are continuing to play fast pace. We haven't seen one slow strat from yet. Nobody covering window. The dink actually comes up from first, so almost the potential for a trade there, but doesn't really end up panning out so well. He's allowed the room to evacuate at the window, and for now he's going to survive. Yeah, SK is just trying to mix it up, and maybe they're trying to have this fast-paced kind of style, maybe trying something new, or maybe when it comes to the gun round, they're going to slow it down even more and have AWPs out and just trying to figure out people. And coldzera almost picking off Rush. He's down to 2 HP. Looks like they're trapped here on the platform. They're just, all 3 of them are going to come out. Tarek shuts down Cole, unfortunately not going to be ducked out by him. And now just waiting for the rest to move in here. Rush, no reason to peek at this. And first, still trying to hunt this guy back over here on the approach on the wall pipe there. But again, they're getting so close. Look at this. There's like 12 or 14 HP between 3 of those players. One of them's finally knocked out. It's Rush getting taken out here now. But, well, the rifle's going to do the job as it will finally take down FNX. And it's another successful round for OpTic. And minimal losses overall. I mean, obviously, Tarek and Naf get brought down very low, but they don't actually die. So the guns are still saved. Yeah, OpTic has so much money right now. They decide to go with the double AWP setup, which can be pretty strong on this map. Having an AWP in A and B, SK is going to have to use their smokes and utility pretty well to stop these AWPers that will potentially push and try to peek on them. And Mixwell's going to try to take a fast shot middle. He doesn't spot him in the middle. He's just looking around trying to find a shot now, but SK is going to slow it down.
And Mixwell is going to be waiting over here too. He hasn't spotted Fallen, but the same issue has occurred for Fallen too. And Mixwell's definitely not going to want to stick around anymore with how aggressively SK have been trying to play so far this map. Response smoke comes in and the flashbang. Naf just barely able to dodge that one, and it hit his opponents. Had that not have been the case, actually, that could have been hugely detrimental for SK, so it's kind of a good thing if the T's flash themselves. There's Mixwell, though, finding Fallen, taking him down. The op-on-op battle initially goes into the way of OpTic yet again here. Now, they did trade out some damage. I believe Fallen hit a shot onto Mixwell to bring him to the 17, but it was a fast response. And SK, I mean, like, SK have gone from getting good amounts of control to getting less and less control. And now, whereas a few rounds ago, they were able at the very least to push out onto the Broken Wall, now they can't even get to that area itself. They've done a good job of recovering from this one, though. The smoke and Molotov combo there into the corner allows them to chase that player that was hiding in the cubby. They've traded it, but with the time getting lower and lower, now they need to go into a site. Catching Stanislaw on the flank, but at the same time now reconfirming that they're still here. And there's Naf pushing up to the platform. He shuts down Taco. And with time only at about 40 seconds here, they're going to have to go all in on this A hit to hope it will work. The good news for them is going to be that Mixwell down at 17 HP won't be able to put up much of a defense.
Not at all, but he does have an AWP, and all he needs is just to shoot them in the chest, and it's an easy kill for him. cold0 gets spotted, jumps up, but then he gets taken out. Now it's 2-on-2, FNX, nice exchange.
Still a lot more work to do here now in the 2 versus 2, and there you go. There's the start of it. Moving in. Rush had not been given away as of yet before he pushed in there, and Fur is going to hold this. He knows Naf is around the corner, holds right up against the doorway in the smoke, and he is going to close it out. Finally, SK slow things down, and immediately we see results.
So Stanislav, he pushed way too early. SK didn't even start to execute towards B, and he's already trying to flank them when there's still 4 people alive, and he gets picked off, and they swing back to A and win the round. So I don't like to blame rounds completely on players, but that was, there's no reason to push like that in a 4-on-4 situation. It's just, you don't need to do that.
And we're going to see the guys from SK moving out again very quickly. Over here, at least to the initial sort of staging area. Beyond the platform itself. They haven't moved out to the site yet, but it is looking like they're going to speed it up again on this round. Have not broken OpTic yet. They're still at full buy territory here, and they're even going to smoke it moving in, though. Actually, I think they just caught Tarek with a nade in hand. Fast response from Rush, and they've got Naf to deal with here, too. Perfect flashbang. Naf is going to take down cold0. Following with an additional trade, though, so all of a sudden, SK are in this site. Good control for them. Fur and Drop trying to move in. They managed to dink him, but first wins the battle against Rush. And now, more control. They've got Drop. They're going to box in Mixwell. He just jumps into his own death there. Bit foolish. And it's all been left to Stanislaw, who's sitting outside the window, and Drop. Ooh.
Yeah, he's going to have to probably save this gun unless he gets a nice kill, but doesn't fall, and just waiting for him to come around the corner. OpTic, they're going to have to save this round. They might get some pistols, but that's about it.
It's one way to not save.
Yeah.
Just rush out into the main doorway and kind of get wrecked by an op.
That's definitely not easy. I would have prefer to like a jump, maybe elbow peek, try to bait the shot. You know, if they have an AWP, most likely he's going to be posted up on there, especially if there's no smokes in the area. Something a little think about next time.
And the players here now from the SK roster are going to distribute once again. A little bit heavier on the outside pressure this time, but obviously a bit less risk considering OpTic. Well, they're not working with the best of buys, and they're going to be lambs to the slaughter in many situations here in favor of SK. As they've already knocked out one of them, they've done good damage to another. They know that Stanislaw's here. They've already done damage to him. As soon as he creeps out there with no utility, easy shot for Fallen to hit.
Yeah, OpTic almost playing the same kind of eco strat as a couple rounds before, where they stack 2-3 people, at least pushing out middle. But SK is ready for that. Fallen's trying to watch for the push. Now it looks like SK is going to fall back towards B, and OpTic, though, is not in a great position to hold, so they're going to try to run away, maybe try to get some exit kills, an AK here or there if they're fortunate enough. But SK is playing it smart. They're clearing every spot. They're making sure that they cannot die to some random corner.
And now with the play going down here, obviously, well, he's going to be caught at an off angle. That's another shutdown to kill from cold0. More trying to move in at the very least to get positions for exits, but yeah, this is most definitely going to be SK taking the lead here, as there's called with an additional find. Mixwell just sneaking in here around the big pole. Oh no, he almost gets that kill against Taco. Wasn't meant to be, however, an SK, and I'll take the reins. But however, that one singular save puts us right back into a buy situation for OpTic.
Yeah, and they don't have much money for a double op setup, or even a op setup, so they're going to do 5 rifles, which isn't too bad on a map like Kabul. You can really stall people with your nades and just kind of stop the rushes. Just it's going to come down for OpTic's counter flashing and then pushing as a team. That's what we're really going to come down to.
Stanislaw moving himself forward here. However, he's actually taken up quite an aggressive spot in the smoke. This is Fur, the main man, to watch out for him, but he's also got FNX. He's in such a dangerous spot if this smoke fades, and anyone from this T side is looking at him. But as he lurks around, he's got a purpose in that spray. He's messy, though. He still grabs the frag, but now he's stuck in between. He never saw Fur. So Fur is going to grab the initial trade after that one. Brings it into a 4 versus 4, but that's a lot of intel he grabs. And now they're going to very quickly shift over here out into the A bomb site 2 that were initially around the site connector and further towards B. Have gone all in on this A site, getting ready for more than a push in.
Yeah, I'm wondering if OpTic saw the bomb when he killed him, because the 2 people instantly over-rotated from OpTic, and looks like SK's going to go towards that A halls. Tark, though, is in a position trying to pick one off, but Fur takes him out, and now the bomb's going to go towards A. Taco's hesitating just a little bit. SK is going to take control of this halls before just really running up.
They moved up in cold. He's going to jump back down over here. He's driven a wedge between the remaining B-site defenders here, and Naf may just run right into it here. He can hear him come from a mile away. Easy pickings for cold. Mixwell finding one. He's got a great position in between these 2 smokes here, but he's losing teammates so quickly, and eventually he's surrounded in a 1 versus 3. So it'll be SK that close out another round, as they seem to be taking a stride here now, and OpTic can't really seem to find an economical footing. They're on another save more than likely here.
Yeah, a tip against, if you ever play against SK, for anyone out there, walk when you rotate, because they always have one person lurking in those spots to try to kill those people that over-rotate, and especially on a map like Cabo, where you can easily put a person in that area, like in the spot where they can hop down in the connector. You have to walk and be careful, because there's always a guy there. There's always an SK player in that area.
And they are going to move themselves up here now, too. Waiting around the corner, though, there's a lot of OpTic players on the way, but the problem is none of them actually got here in time, so they're all out of sight. And SK will expect these guys to come in pretty much, yeah, there you go, FNX waltzing in there. It's another shutdown round. OpTic, unfortunately, when their economy is broken, they just cannot seem to do much on these specific ecos here. As of the past couple of rounds, they've been very lackluster, to say the least. So now Stanislaw picking up an AK is probably going to be the best thing that OpTic managed to get away with on this run, if he even gets away with it, which he's not. Fur is doing a fantastic job of chasing down this kill here. So Naf is now going to be your last man up and running here for OpTic, and well, even he's going to be found out by Fur from the side.
Nice eco from SK. They're playing all you know, they're really taking it to OpTic, and not really dying too much on pistols, which is very good in the long run. And Mixwell buying an auto sniper. So we'll see where he decides to spam through smoke on this one. Looks like he's going towards middle, so he's going to try to pick off Fallen here. See if he's successful. Nope, he's going to play a little passive. But Stanislav's pushed off in this A halls area. SK kind of doing a little default, kind of hanging out, you know, hanging out in middle, having a good time. They're up 7-4.
Yeah. And as we can see too, the auto from Mixwell. Possibly some mixed results with it in the past, but hopefully is able to catch SK. The problem is, though, is they got to force SK into an A hit again, and they've been doing it for quite some time, so I feel like this is going to be the round, especially if judging from the position of the bomb, that now they would try to change up the game plan a little bit here and take it back over towards the B bomb site. Taco looking to move in here, though. They are going to chew. Actually, does check up there, so Stanislaw is going to be knocked out immediately, and Mixwell doesn't really know how to play this anymore because they still have pressure on both sites. This is going to be a big problem for OpTic, is now not only have they lost one of their players, but they're not really sure as to where the bomb's going to be heading towards. They've heard noise closer to the B bomb site, but they've also had lost a player over at the entrance of Long A. Both options are open to SK right now, and then they have to adjust accordingly.
Yeah, Stanislav, OpTic keeps losing rounds when he's dying so fast in the round. It's like, to stay alive a little longer, play a little more passive, make SK kind of look for you, because like all the rounds that they've lost so far, on a gun round, he dies first or second, and then they just walk up and take the site.
And there's where the auto comes in here for Mixwell. He's going to pick up a first frag, quickly falls back behind the APC, but more damage coming in. Fallen down at 20 HP as they shift into the site here. One player around the corner, Fallen hunting, but can't seem to grab anything. It's one more pickup for Mixwell before he ends up dropping that auto sniper, and they still have a player, well, they did have a player on the site trying to hold behind that APC, but he gets a bit too aggressive. Rush, for some reason, is still waiting for a second guy to come down from drop. That's not happening. As he moves up to the door, well, Colzer's already heard him, and he's going to be the one that creeps up, shuts him out. And SK, another round going into their favor here. Started off so poorly, but managed to bounce back brilliantly here now, and are now leading 8-4.
Nice move by SK. Taco was low in HP, so Fallen gave him the AWP, and then he took the AK. So pretty interesting. So So Pollen can just really lurk up and entry kill into the bomb site, and it was a pretty ballsy but smart play. Now it looks like it's going to be a B rush from SK, and all 5 OpTics are at A, so this is definitely the wrong stack OpTic is doing.
Yeah, and this one is unfortunately for OpTic going to be another just complete washout for these guys. SK are going to have no problem at all after they completely stack on the wrong site, closing this one down. I mean, even just using nades and whatnot to keep them away from moving back over towards this site. They have sort of surrounded the B site to prevent them from evacuating, so maybe a couple surprises lurk on the exit, but I wouldn't be too hopeful of a large impact on OpTic's end here.
Fur is ready. He's waiting literally almost in T-spawn, watching for the push, and he catches not fly. Probably not expecting him to be at that angle. It's like, what? You're there? Aren't you defending the bomb? No, they don't need to because no one's there. No one's in B.
It's an open site.
It's an open site. Literally walked in, planted the bomb. OpTic, you cannot stack A on every eco. Teams will catch on. They're smarter than that, especially against SK. Like, oh yeah, they're stacking A in every eco.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go B.
This is really off topic, by the way.
Yes.
You've noticed, you know there's that sword in the hallway, right?
I think so, yeah.
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 How cool would it be if you could pick up that sword?
And use it?
Yeah, it's like a knife.
That'd be pretty good. I like that idea. We need more ideas like this in
Like
CSGO.
so many people would troll
We
like
need
that.
sprays. We need pick up swords and shields. I want to see off the wall. Let's take a shield. Let's have some power-ups on the map. How about that?
Like we're playing Demo Men from
I want to
TF2
jump
all of a
10
sudden.
feet in the air, all right? I want us to be able to jump over walls, okay? Let's go for that rocket booster. Let's go, Valve. Let's see what else you could throw in this game.
We Overwatch now.
Let's do it. Hey, they're going to, you never know. You never know.
You never know in CSGO.
You just never know. Nice little bait setup from OpTic. Though people do check that spot, so Stanislav is going to try to bait and swing out. And hopefully they don't check that corner because he's just looking right there. But no, he's going to leave him to die.
They're moving up pretty quickly here too. Stan's going to shift out to try and put a bit more of an active pressure on this defense. They're ready for it, but now they've got impact. The cross is actually great over here towards Long, but it ends up going 2 for 2. Not optimal for the guys on OpTic here. And Rush really just didn't help out at all. I think it was because they did this earlier. I think he was waiting for the play to come in over there towards drop and counter that guy out, but they've kind of abandoned that ever since the first couple of rounds where it wasn't really working out for them.
Smart adjustment.
OpTic are hoping to go back to a time where they were actually winning the round, but yeah, it's not happening anymore. They're just going for direct hits, and it's still working.
OpTic still has plenty of utility to work with. I'd like them to start smoking out plays and be able to get out. The bomb is ticking, so waiting for Nofly to flank Fur. But nice 2 kills by SK right off the bat. Just utility down. There's no nades being thrown from OpTic.
Yeah, and Naf's going to use the smoke to try and get a little bit further. He does isolate the guy up on top of Shed, but he's still going to win the battle anyway in the 1v1. There's SK. Double digits now, and OpTic, well, they just can't find anything. This is an 8-round streak from SK.
Yeah, again, that last round, they had like smokes. They had like 2 flashes, a Molotov, and I didn't see anything tossed. Like, especially on a retake, toss something, like maybe distract a little bit, at least keep people off looking in the middle. I don't know. Just do something, please. Please.
So SK, this time around here, are going to try to just group up again. And now, I mean, I don't even know what OpTic are trying to do at this point. They try to play it super aggressively. Naf jumps in through the smoke.
Desperate plays from OpTic.
Like
they're losing every round.
They've always had at least 1 or 2 players here too, so that's just going directly into the stack at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. OpTic seems like they're maybe a little tilted, a little confused on what to do, so they're making these desperate jump plays, aggressive plays, but SK's not letting you have it. They're sitting back with their rifles behind smoke, and you're trying to push these wall of smokes? I don't know.
And Mixwell, in his attempt to retreat, is getting knocked out by coldzera. Things flatlining very quickly here for the OpTic side.
Very much so, and SK is still just, even after 2 picks, they're still taking it slow. They're making sure that they will not get killed by 2 people or a stack or that, and just 1 by 1, like a python blue. They're squeezing them alive.
Aren't those boa constrictors that do that? Not pythons.
Wait, can it be both? I thought pythons also do that.
No,
I'm not a snake expert here, so
well,
just
pythons
enlighten me.
bite people.
Really?
I think boa constrictors are the ones that actually like do the whole they hug you to death.
I thought pythons also do that though.
I could be wrong.
I mean, pythons are big snakes.
Okay.
They seem like a snake that would.
Apparently pythons also do that, so you're right.
So they both do
I'm
it?
wrong again.
You're not wrong. You're just half right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like boa constrictors are the ones that are known
Yeah.
to like do that thing. So you just assume that's like unique to them. Apparently not. They're not that special.
No,
So
no one's special here.
moving on, SK close out this round. And with that, that's going to close out the half. It's quite a dominating one for SK as they go 11-4. So guys, we have to hope OpTic can recover. The second half is coming up in just a little bit here. You're not going to want to miss it. Stick around for more of the ESL Pro League coming up in just a little bit.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb coming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. Oh, he gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this orb is still.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
All right, welcome back once again, guys, to the ESL Pro League. We're going to be getting started with the second half of OpTic versus SK in just a few moments. But let's talk a little bit about that first out there. I mean, one big change, but also a very simple change from SK that I noticed that immediately turned around the game was, all right, we saw them playing fast. They were getting wrecked by OpTic on almost every single round. They go back to the slow play, and they win like 10, 11 straight.
Yeah, the slow play really just tore apart OpTic, just checking your corners, because you saw a lot of OpTic play where like one or two of them would peek or push instead of the whole team, and so it caught them off guard, or it hurt them in the long run where SK's like, okay, let's just stop rushing, let's sit back and hold for angles, and literally OpTic would try to push somewhere, like Stanislav in A, he would try to push, he gets killed. He might have got one kill one round, but he'd die right after that. SK just ran right towards A, and then OpTic didn't look too good on their retakes, because a lot of times they had opportunities to retake A, but it just never went right.
You notice, too, that this happened like 3 or 4 times after they started losing a lot of rounds. They kept getting psyched out by the potential of a guy like drop flanking them again, because they did that for the first couple of rounds, and they were always able to counter that out, but then they kept looking for that for like the rest of the half, and oftentimes they would have a guy positioned specifically to watch out for that, and he wouldn't be able to participate in like an initial A hit or something like that, because they were waiting for someone to come and drop, and it never happened, where you might have had a great cross spray setup, but like there was one round that I recall specifically where they had 2 guys set up to do a nice cross spray long, but because the player at door was focused more on the drop window instead of actually moving out of the doors themselves into the site and trying to counter out the ramp push, it all like fell apart. It was just a 2-2 trade. If he had been there and he had been like a third proponent for the OpTic side, I feel like that may have gone differently. But again, just going back to the earlier rounds where OpTic kind of psyched them out, they prepared them for a certain type of play, and they switched away from that. They never went back to the old style, and OpTic just completely tried to continue to play it like it was working for the old style, just peeking out early, getting knocked out due to that, and losing a lot of their players early on where they really had no business doing so, making a lot of their retakes just completely impossible.
Yeah, a lot of smart, small moves like that by SK, and a lot of top-tier teams, if you play against a top-tier team, and if you're doing well, people will adjust to you. They have to make these small adjustments, or you're just going to win out hard. And so SK adjusted to their preemptively.
The counter adjustment.
That third level thinking, like, we know you might watch this for the next couple rounds, so we're not even going to put anyone there. And it's just, I mean, that's just brilliant calling by SK, and like little moves like that just mess with OpTic so much that they were not able to bounce back in that site.
All right, so let's go. Second half, is there a chance for OpTic to recover?
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance, but it's going to be a hard chance. It's not easy. It's one of the top teams in the world, arguably #1. I'd say top 3.
I don't know if
sure.
saying it's a hard chance is like the right vernacular.
Oh no,
it's a small chance.
Small chance. Hard. No, I want to go hard. I go hard in the paint, Blue. All right, I go hard in the paint. It's a hard chance. Okay.
So SK have actually stacked away from the B site too, so they're outnumbered. Fragging out initially 2 for 1. Fur holding the line over here. FNX has yet to pick anything up. Fur is going to go down, and well, FNX, he's out of here. He's jumping out. through the smoke. He survives the encounter. It goes into a 3-on-3. Despite the fact that he, along with Cold, will necessarily grab any good kills there, they do deal damage. Mixwell and Rush at a little below half of their HP there. Mixwell a little bit lower, actually only around a third. It's going to make this a bit of a difficult task to hold out, especially if they have to take any duels in the open here. But, well, Fallen runs out. Not a lot of support. At least it comes in late. There is a trade, though. Back into a 2 versus 2. And FNX is trying to finish off Mixwell. He'll do the job. It's all Fallen and Nap. He's hiding out in that chicken coop. They're doing more and more damage. Taco just trading out his pistol here. And now he's got the triple shot. But Nap wants to waste as much time as possible. It's not going to be that much, however. And while we see the defuse coming in here now, FNX, I believe he's going to be able to grab this. It is a full 10-second defuse. It'll be very close, but they've got it.
Wow.
It is going to be SK picking up the pistol and keeping that lead, growing ever stronger against OpTic here in this first map.
I thought OpTic was going to win that round. They had 3 people in the bomb site, 2-on-3, and people kept peeking one by one in a way and just got outshot. That was pretty impressive by SK to actually win that round after being, you know, pushed out of sight, bomb planted, no kit. Still come out with the W.
Yep. And now SK, well, just going for the SMGs too. OpTic have done the weird raid boss buy on the second round. It's not really weird. It's just it's a bit unusual. We don't see teams do it that often, but it's become more and more commonplace in the past couple months. Energy does this quite a bit actually, as you would expect an older player, Godby, to be pulling off something like this.
It's really to punish those people that just buy submachine guns. As you can see, 4 members of SK have submachine guns. So if you want to use those rifles to really just almost counter them, but in CSGO, an AMP can just do almost as well as a rifle. It's a pretty powerful gun. It's like 1 shot, 90 damage in the head.
I think you were casting with it. It was a couple weeks ago. I think it was OpTic or someone else that played against one of like the higher tier teams, and they ended up either winning or losing a round, like where they had 5 AKs and then the opposing team had like 5 SMGs, and the team of 5 SMGs won. It was on train. Granted. Yeah. I think they pushed like box halls, which is where the SMGs are probably going to win there anyway, but still, it was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, submachine guns are pretty mean in this game. Just it does a lot of damage for headshots, and it's pretty accurate while jumping, moving around, and blah blah blah. Oh boy, oh boy, there's a knife. That's some money.
OpTic get away with something in this round. The dignity of FNX there, taking him down with the knife.
I don't know how that was. I don't even know how he got there.
That was a bit strange.
It's like all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, this guy is not on his team. He's right behind him all of a sudden.
But in the meantime, Taco is going to jump out there to dispatch of NAF. This actually goes into a 2-on-2, so I wouldn't call it done and dusted just yet. The OpTic
kits, though.
Yeah, the OpTic players are, I mean, here's the thing, yeah, no kits, and they're taking a lot of time to get in position for retake. That vent breaking over there, they certainly know where that player is moving in from. Stanislav creeping up, but he looks away in the last moment, he never adjusts, and oh no! Coldzera just going to destroy both of it. This is going to be, actually, no, because look, they don't have a kit, so they don't have enough time, so OpTic still win this round.
Wow.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but you always should have a kit, at least.
I think they had to have, they must have thought someone had a kit on the site then.
Maybe.
Is that why that was the only logical reason as to why they would have taken it so slow?
But other than that, though, if you're both stacked in A halls, one of you guys have to watch this. Like where did Stanislav come from? Did he just walk up middle? I didn't see where he came from.
He might have gone up ramp and went in the doorway at some point, or
that's
went
crazy.
out the window room and then wrapped around the pole like while
he hacked the game and just walked through walls.
just
literally walked through walls.
SV cheats is on and he just no clicked.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, still not a great play by OpTic and towards that A hall. You gotta watch the flank, guys. Come on, watch the flank. You're both there. Someone watch you back.
So now we're gonna take a look here and see if OpTic can, I mean, there's still the potential for the comeback here, but it really relies on OpTic to go on like a huge streak, starting it off with losing Nap, who was potentially one of their biggest players at New York. Is certainly not going to be a good prospect to bring this back under their control. Trying to get that drop control there, and FNX sticks around. Coldzera moving in though, catches the trade. That's going to be good for the guys on SK to maintain control, but they didn't realize that Stan jumped down. He should have been able to hear that. Coldzera and Taco, but Fur with the shotgun, still impacting over here, but he's surrounded. I'm not even sure if he realizes it in a moment here. He's going to be pushed upon by Tarek and Stan. They pick up that kill. The last man standing here is going to be Fallen with the shotgun. He may be able to jump into drop since that's not being very well defended to be able to pick up an actual rifle. Yeah, there should be some.
But he doesn't want to pick a rifle. He wants a shotgun, or didn't see it, or maybe wants an AK.
Was there one? Well, he's got one of these here, yeah.
There was a FAMAS, so maybe
maybe
he's going for the other rifle.
Anyway, Moving in here now, going to try to clutch this out, but first duel almost takes down Tarek. It will not be enough, however. Knocking him down, and there you have it. OpTic keeping things together here. They upset on that second round. They prevent SK from just running away with the scoreline. The big problem, though, is that they won these 2 rounds, and they're only half of the scoreline. They still have to pick up 6 more just to tie this.
Yeah, they got a long ways to go, and they're low on money. OpTic, if they lose this round, they potentially probably have to save next round, even though they just won the last 2 rounds. So they are winning rounds, but they're dying a lot and losing armor, utility, and guns, and so it's going to add up here. They need to get some rounds where they don't die too often.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, while we did see SK getting lucky and rushing against the stack, this time it's going to be OpTic going right into the 5-man stack, and they're impacting. Whew, Rush tapping away, though. Nicely done. Rush actually gets the ace there. Great accuracy from him, and nice little 1-taps with the AK.
Yeah, you got to 1-tap sometimes, you know? You got to get that headshot, and Rush did it. He saved the team by just headshotting everybody. Very nicely done by him. Again, they lost a lot of guns and utility, and 3 of them are really broke. It's low money. Got Nafly with $50.
I mean, they're going to be low, but that's just like going amongst the process of the CT side. The fact that they do that much damage to OpTic, though, is going to be great, because what SK are looking to do at this point, if they get back control and start winning out these rounds, they want to prevent OpTic from buying it all. If they can break them and, 1, maybe 2 round victories, it's great. So they immediately just gain the advantage of the scoreline there without having to worry about too much. But look at Mixwell just sneaking out onto the site. Nobody's seen him as of yet, just walks down the steps. That's already all the B-side defense is gone by the wayside. coldzera here, working himself with an M4, but there's just nothing to be found in drop and whatnot. SK are starting to loop around, but in all honesty, this may already be looking towards a save here. I'm not even sure. coldzera is still out in the site by himself at this point.
He's trying to make a miracle play, and he gets cut off. Doesn't work. And I liked what OpTic did that round, where they kind of peaked, and then they had the wall of smokes. And that usually works when they don't have an upper, which SK did not have. And it kind of caught SK off a little off guard, as you see in other times they play this map. If you see a wall of smokes, they literally sit behind the smokes and wait. Wait for the team to come back. They wait for someone to push through. They don't make any risky plays, and it kind of caught them off guard just a little bit that people are peeking them before there's any smokes. So it worked pretty nice.
And with OpTic doing that, well, 4 rounds behind. They're doing a good job of making this comeback very plausible, of course, and I believe SK are on another save round here, too.
Except for Fallen, who's just going to buy out. He's had enough.
They're buying out here, I think, actually.
You see the rounds. They lost 4 in a row, so I think on a map like Kabul, I guess you can do these shotguns and strats a little easier than other maps.
I think this map is like, you probably have the most effective spots with like shotgun pickups and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like other maps, you'll have like 1 or 2 really good spots on CT side where you can play it, but this map's like 3 or 4 different places where you can actually put a shotgun and actually have pretty marginal effectiveness against like AKs and M4s.
Yeah, as much as I like shotguns, I would prefer to see AWPs in SK's hands instead of a shotgun. Maybe save the extra round and have AWPs next round. Because, you have 2 of one of the best AWPers in the world on your team. You got coldzera and Fallen. They're superb. And you're making these guys play with shotguns and umps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Questionable.
Again, SK, I think, really trying to just crush the economy as quickly as possible. But in the process of doing this, they've kind of stunted their own. And I mean, it's not even, thanks for pulling up the money there. And it's not even like really an issue of them crushing the money. Like Stanislaw is at 9K. The only players that are even low at this point are Tarek and Naf. The others all easily have enough for at least 1 full rebuy. Fallen moving in, though. Doesn't even get the kill, and now turns his back. The throw to the Molotov. Somehow he's not dead yet. They were very slow in the reaction, but he's unloaded his whole entire mag now. He's going to have to try and cut for more. Gets 1 more shot off. He did about half the health off of Rush and Stan, but immediately shut out by Stan. Here's Fur with a real gun, though. We're taking the big battle out in the open here. Shuts out. Stanislaw is going to fall back. coldzera, another one being found from him with the SMG. So OpTic's hesitance is going to be paying back big time now. They tried to take a page out of SK's book by slow playing this, and it's worked out terribly for them.
That was a bad play by OpTic. They got the kill, and then they decided to fall back to only re-engage after you took those angles, and Fur and Taco just taking out OpTic. And oh my goodness, OpTic, you had the kill, and then you try and do something risky on the other side of the map by trying to walk through smoke. I mean, I just don't understand the idea behind that play from OpTic. You can't hesitate.
Not like this.
Not like this. Not like this. Like, you literally, I don't know, I'm dumbfounded in a way how that just happened. But again, SK wins. Now they have an AWP in Fallen's hand. Well, it's going to be a little more dangerous. A little more dangerous for OpTic.
And full buy coming in here now, too, with the exception of FNX on the shotgun there. Still warranted investment, given the map, as we just discussed in the last round. And for OpTic themselves, well, we're going to try to make a hit over here towards the B site, more than likely. Keeping the guys outside on A to keep the illusion alive, but Fallen over there on log 2. May expect him to peek out for it in a moment here, depending on how he wants to proceed about this. But with him being the now only A-site defender, probably not going to happen. We'll expect him to fall back in a little bit, just in case this suddenly switches up. I don't think that's happening, though. OpTic are going to be going for full control of this site pretty shortly. The big area where they're going to have problems, you can see from the minimap there, is going to be over there towards the step position, like past Broken Wall. Coldzera's in the cubby, and you've got Taco watching for the steps. FNX, good flash on him initially, but denies Mixwell. He's going to survive with 2 HP after picking up that kill on the shotty. And no other reaction beyond that. OpTic don't move in to try and trade him out or anything. They're all just stuck on top of drop right now with the other two still trying to lurk in and initiate the Broken Wall hit.
And here's the problem with OpTic. They have no smoke. They have literally 1 smoke and 1 Molotov to kind of work with. And that's just, oh, they do get 2 kills, though. They also drop 2 in the process. So it's 3-on-2 in favor of SK. And then trying to go to peek out this. And Tari's trying to make a move here. Oh, but gets outshot by Fallen, who's literally just holding the angle, and Fallen just takes a shot. Like, mine kill.
Naf is now your last man standing here for OpTic here. As he's going to try to move in here, trying to hold the angle, but there you go, gets himself into another battle, which he's not going to be able to find. The headshot of Fur on, and SK seem to be reclaiming control of things now. It took 1 round slip up, and it does justify their forces that we were seeing earlier too. As well, as soon as they got that 1 round victory, it's immediately worked out for them. OpTic buying out here, I do believe. Not sure what the buy is going to look like. Some of their players were fairly low, so yeah, it's a bit of a full house in the buys that they bring to the table. 2 AKs, 3 Tech 9s. Various amounts of utility spreading across the team, and well, SK seem to have a renewed sense of aggression. Fur's going to push right out there, and oh, if he catches these guys in the halls, this is going to be a sink or swim position from him because
he's going to catch these people off guard right now.
Oh my God, look at this! It's perfect. He should be able to hear them stopping around out there too.
Oh yeah, he does hear them for sure. He's going to call it as you see SK.
Don't take the shot. Don't take the shot. No, he's going to spray him, but he gets 2. Almost getting the 3rd one there, too. I actually thought he was only going to get 1, but he closes out on all 3. The hit's already dead. And unless Mixwell flanks out in a huge degree here, which he's going to get denied, yeah, everything falls to Naffer. Looking for the ace, but no, it's denied. Caught out running without his weapon drawn. That's where Nav is finally going to take him down. But now, what the hell does Nav do in a 1v3?
Needs to try to make 3-1-1s. That's the thing, because SK is pretty spread out. So if he's able to outpick Coldzera here, but it looks like he's going to go towards drops. He's going to try to face Taco. There we go, 1-1-1. Now he can make it 2-on-1s. Coldzera, he knows he's in there. SK knows he's in this connector area. Just trying to get it. Almost gets that for nice, but not quite. It's a good idea. He's trying to split them up, trying to get some kills, but eventually does not hit the shots. And that's what you got to do in 1-on-3. Make it 3 1-on-1s. But unfortunately, he missed his shots.
Yeah. And this monster flank for Fur. Let me remind you, too, OpTic trying to stack their players up right where Fur's standing there in that clip. He wraps through, and they're not even checking over there in the mid area. He goes up the steps all the way out and around to that position, and then just completely destroys the entire hit. Had he not stopped there, he'd been found out. That round goes the complete opposite direction, but he single-handedly secures that with that brilliant flank.
It's like that one time you don't hold the spot, he just walks right through. It's like, okay.
Unfortunate indeed for that man there, but for the team there. But we will see OpTic now pushing out, and it's a pretty direct hit out onto the B-bomb site. Drop control in. FNX almost caught with his weapon drawn, but I mean he's just destroying this now. Already down the NAF, and he's going to get destroyed. So there you have it. SK, after a bit of a sloppy start, recover brilliantly. And with that, they are going to close out this first map in their favor, continuing up in the rankings. And with these two teams tied, it's very important for them to secure a higher seed going into our Brazilian Grand Finals. They'll zip past OpTic now, and I believe have a solid 2nd place in the rankings.
Slow start by SK on both halves, but they managed to pick it up and kind of just roll out the rest of the halves. So it was pretty good. SK kind of just, they seem a lot of their matches where they kind of slow to start, and then they just start having momentum and start winning the round.
All right, so we have the analysts waiting for us, guys, to break down this first map between these two teams. Let's send it over to them to talk about things.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, there you have it. SK Gaming take down OpTic in pretty dominant fashion. Ryu, overall thoughts?
Yeah, I just thought SK played. They had some feeling out periods on both halves. made great adjustments and showed why Fallen's one of the best in-game leaders in the world.
Yeah, and round 12, Mixwell buys the auto sniper. A little bit of a questionable decision there. Ends up getting punished by SK pretty heavily.
I feel like auto noob was probably being spammed in chat because that's Twitch chat etiquette for when someone has an auto sniper. And yeah, just like I said, there was a feeling out period early where it seemed like SK was like, okay, we're just going to try to go real fast over and over, see if we can just steamroll them. But now you can see here on the clock, there's only 20 seconds left. They completely changed the pace, started to slow things down. The way that they work is very methodical, and they do a good job of like cutting off rotates, getting key areas in the map, and their T side was able to just kind of run away after a little bit of a slow start where they got eco'd, and then it was an 11-4 half, very dominant.
Yeah, solid T round coming out for these guys. And then on the CT side of things, round 16, the second pistol round, they pretty much made it impossible from there. And yeah, they locked it down. They needed this one. They, like Blue is saying, this is the time where you got to secure your higher seeding and you want to try to make your first round as easy as possible.
Yeah, so they're not 100% guaranteed for the offline final at this point, but there's only like 3 or 4 teams I think that can get to the 17 win mark that they're at right now. If SK is able to close the next map, I think they're almost like entirely a lock. So yeah, these are super important matches, and you know, OpTic has been playing really, really well. Really uncharacteristically poor performance from Tarek. I thought not only was his shot pretty poor, like he wasn't winning any of the 1v1s that he would normally have a good chance to win. Like his decision making was really bad. There's a couple rounds where like he just like swings wide with no support, no nades from a teammate or anything, and just runs into 2 people posted, and you know, basically became a free frag. So hopefully they bounce back, make some adjustments, and come out strong in the next map.
All right, well, we do have that next map, and I believe it's going to be on Train, but I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, The Score Esports. Go on, take out your phone, iOS or Android device in the Google Play App Store. It is the best place for news and stats. And again, don't go anywhere. It's the last map of the night. SK Gaming taking on OpTic after this break.